Hey guys, thanks so much for stopping by. I wanted to help remind you that no matter what you're going through right now, you can still have a good day.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of It's a Good Day podcast. I'm so excited that you guys are here with me this week. I've missed you so much. As you saw, I went MIA again. Sorry guys, I promise that's not going to be a regular thing. It's not going to happen all the time. But I have some big news to share with you. In my last episode, I told you that I would have some big news to be sharing with you, and today you get to hear that. But before we do that, that we jump back to the last episode and talk about that for a second. I did kind of pull it from the archives. I did film it a couple weeks ago, and then because of everything that was going on, everything that was happening, I figured I would pull that back here for you guys to watch and listen to. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. I really hope that you guys know and understand that you can talk to me. I was so excited when people actually had questions that they were sending me and had questions that they wanted me to answer, and that was super cool. I really love that Amelia was there with me too, so that Amelia could answer some questions as well. I would really love to do more questions and answers, and if you guys have questions for me in the future, or even have questions for me now when we're too scared or missed the opportunity to ask those questions, you guys are always welcome to ask those questions. You can send them to me, text them to me, call them to me if you have my number. I really want to answer those for you. I want you to get to know me, and I just want to build this platform in this community where we can be open with one another and talk to each other about good, bad, ugly, pretty, all the in-betweens. Like I said, it was a super fun episode, and I'm so glad that I was able to share it with you guys. Okay, so we can finally jump into this episode that I titled Texas or Bust. So that's the exciting news. My family and I have moved to Texas. We're not officially Texans because we haven't changed our driver's licenses yet or anything, but it's still fun to say oh, I'm from Texas. So we moved to Texas. Why did we move to Texas? We moved to Texas because my husband is in the Air Force, and this is where he was sent. And so we went from Iowa to Texas, and that is a big change. It wasn't that big for me because I'm from Florida, so I'm used to the heat, and I was really excited for the heat. But now that I'm here, I kind of regret saying that because it's really hot outside. But yes, we are here, and so I wanted to talk about our moving process, because holy moly, Batman, that was a lot. At first, when I was presented with the opportunity to move, Santiago had texted me and he was like, hey, I have really good news. And I was like, okay, what's your news? And he said, well, I got my orders and you're on my orders, so you can come with me. And I cried a lot because I was so excited that I was finally going to be able to see my husband again. And there was a lot of back and forth, are you serious? Are you sure? Are we doing this? And Santiago said, get your butt here. We got to do this. We're going to do this. And so we really only had 30 days to get our whole life packed up in Iowa and then moved to Texas. And at first I was ready for the opportunity. I was ready to move in a week. I was calling people I'm done, I quit, I don't want to do this, I want to do that. Just kidding. But I really was ready to move in a week. I was ready and prepared in my mind to get everything set up, everything, what's the word I'm looking for, packed up, and just put in my car and ship to Texas. I don't think I would say that the process itself was stressful at the beginning. At the beginning, all I had to do was go get boxes and put everything in these boxes. And I was so okay with throwing away half of my life. That's somewhere that me and Santiago differ a little, because Santiago would like to hold on to something. It's a little more sentimental. Where me, I'm I just want to throw it away. I don't want to take care of it. Get it out of my house. I'm curious to know what kind of person you are. Would you rather throw things away, or would you rather just pack it all together and keep it all forever and be a hoarder? No, just kidding. You're not a hoarder. It's just a different lifestyle. But it's not the lifestyle that I chose for myself. So when I was packing, I made my life easier because I was just packing by myself, and with a toddler and with a cat, I was throwing a lot of things away. And I don't regret it because we have a small, cute little home here, and all of our stuff would not have fit anyway. So I'm really glad that I made that decision to just throw things away. But that made things less stressful for me because it made our box numbers go down, and it was less stuff that I had to haul by myself to Texas. It also wasn't showing to be that stressful because we had a lot of friends in Iowa that was telling us, their experience with the military or their experience with the past, with them moving or with them doing new things or, just really jumping into that military lifestyle because it's something that we'd never done, obviously. And it was really nice to have friends and family there that had that experience and they could tell me like, hey, look out for this. Hey, make sure you do this. Hey, make sure that happens. And just helping us prep and prepare for this new life that we were going to have. And I mean, it also helped that I started packing like a month before we even had to leave. So that definitely made things a lot less stressful for me. But if we're going to be talking about some stressors, let's talk about some stressors. So one of my biggest stressors was making sure that I packed on time. So like we had our apartment until the end of July, but we were leaving in the middle of July because that's just when everything kind of worked out and that's when we could get our house here on base. And so I had like technically I had a month to prepare, right? But I started packing right away. And so because I started packing right away, I made these lists and I had these piles and I started bringing everything out into the living room. And every day I would make sure I packed something. Whether it was a lot or a little, I was packing every single day. But still in the back of my mind, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't have time. Oh my gosh, I'm not going to pack in time. Oh my gosh, I'm going to have to throw everything away because I don't have time to pack. And that just wasn't, what was actually happening because I had plenty of time to pack. I was just stressing myself out because I wanted to be on this time schedule and I just wanted to make sure I was getting everything done in time so that I could get to Texas on time. Another big stressor for me personally, because Santiago knew it was going to work out, but I was just like, it was our on-base housing situation. So if you're not part of the military, you wouldn't know maybe that there is a housing list, like a waiting list for the houses on base most of the time. And we were moving during PCS season, which is permanent change of station season. And so that made life a little harder because we would call and they would say, oh, you're 7th on the list. And then a week later we'd call and they'd be like, oh, you're 6th on the list. And like we kept going down, but we weren't going down on the list as fast as I wanted to go down on the list. So that made it a little stressful for me because I was ready to move in like now. And it wasn't working on my time, which, that happens a lot. And so we finally, got the call that like, hey, we have a house for you. This is when you can move in. And that kind of sped the process up a little bit faster because we were moving in faster than we thought we were going to move in. And which was super exciting for us because we wanted to be together, but like it kind of made things a little more stressful because it was like, oh my gosh, I don't have a lot of time to get everything done. But obviously we're here now and everything got done. So one of the biggest stressors when it comes to moving is finances and making sure that we have the finances to move. And that was a little stressful too. I mean, we had the finances set aside. We knew we were going to move. We knew we were going to be fine. But like I get stressed out by money anyways. So I was constantly like, are you sure? Do we have the money? Are you sure? Do we have the money? And that kind of went into whether or not we did a Diddy move or not. A Diddy move is a do-it-yourself move. We weren't sure if we wanted to move ourselves because of finances or if we wanted to hire people to help move us because the military would help cover that. And there was just a lot that went into play when it came to choosing. And in the end, we chose that we were going to move ourselves because it was just going to be a little bit cheaper than like hiring a company, hiring a truck, and getting everything moved. And thankfully, my parents had a trailer and they were able to help us move down, which was super nice because they were able to spend some time with us and help get the house together before, we said like our goodbyes for a while. I think the biggest thing for me was like making sure I wasn't focusing on the things that were stressing me out. My goal was not to focus on the negative and the stressors that were happening. My goal was to focus on the lifestyle and the experiences that we were working towards, that we were going into, because at the end of the day, like, this is a huge opportunity for my family. We've already been here, a week and a half, almost 2 weeks, and so many things have happened for us already. That's been so impactful and so exciting, and just something that I was excited to call my family about and say like, oh my gosh, guess what we did? There are experiences that are going to happen for my family that would not have happened had we stayed in Iowa. Some of the good things that came from, moving and like getting away from the stresses, good things, is that we were going to get there eventually. Like if bad things kept happening or if stressful things kept happening, at the end of the day, we were still going to be in Texas in like a month. Like it was going to happen eventually. It just had to happen in time. Not only that, but we were going to have a house. A house. We have never had a house. We've always lived in apartments. And so that was super exciting for us because like we didn't know that we were going to end up in a house. Like, we knew we were going to have a house, but we weren't sure how it was going to happen. And that was just not something that we saw happening for our family for a while, had we stay in Iowa. So the fact that this opportunity for Santiago has given his family a home has made this super fun for us because we finally have a space. Amelia can finally stomp on the ground without a neighbor hitting the ceiling. And that happened a lot. I felt so bad. My 2-year-old couldn't stomp because our neighbors downstairs got mad at us. But besides the stressors, and even besides the good things, moving shouldn't be stressful. And not only stressful, but like moving shouldn't be scary. If you are moving somewhere, it's obviously for a reason, and that's obviously going to open up new opportunities and new doors for you to do new and exciting things. Moving is an opportunity, and that's what it's been for my family. I feel like we had to stay somewhere to make others happy. We made this move because we knew it would be best for our family, and we knew that it would be best for us as individuals. Santiago is thriving doing what he's doing right now. I get to be at home with Amelia, which is super exciting because it gives me more time to work on things that I want to work on. And Amelia gets to be home with her mom and gets to see her dad every single day. And there's nothing more that we could really ask for in this moment in time. Now, how is everyone adjusting? I think one of our biggest adjustments is Amelia going to sleep. So when Santiago left for boot camp, I had moved Amelia into my room because, we were downtown by ourselves, just the two of us. It just made me feel more comfortable that she was there with me. And she got used to sleeping with mom. I have never been a big co-sleeper person. Like, if you co-sleep, good for you, but, like, I can't co-sleep because I move around like a starfish. I can't stop rolling and spreading my arms everywhere. But Amelia is the exact same way. And when she stayed in my room with me, she decided, like, oh, I want to sleep with mom. And if it made her fall, usually I would let her crawl in bed, fall asleep, and then I'd move her to her bed. However, when we got here, she thought that was still what was going to happen, but she had her own room and Santiago was home again, so I felt better with her being in her own room. And these past 2 weeks have been really hard for her to go to sleep in her own room, and she'll sit at the door and she'll go, Mama, Dada, and like cry about it, but then 5 minutes later she'll be yelling at us because she's just mad that we left her in her room. It's gotten a lot easier, and it's gonna get easier. I'm not worried about it, but that's probably been one of the biggest things for me. It was so funny before we came because everyone was like, oh, Santiago's gonna make a big mess and you have to adjust living together again, and it really hasn't been that big of an adjustment. I mean, he's out every day working on things that he has to work on, and I'm at home with Amelia just like it was when he was at boot camp. So there hasn't been that big of an adjustment yet, especially because like he's super clean now. At least he's a lot cleaner than he was before he left, and there's really not a lot to pick up like ever. So we really haven't had a hard time adjusting back to one another, and for that I'm really appreciative. I mean, other than adjusting at home, it's been a little confusing adjusting to like base life and knowing what we can do, when we can do it, what we can't do when we're on base, or what is allowed when we are on base. Amelia and I have been exploring the base together, and we've been swimming or playing at the splash pad or going to the commissary or like just doing a bunch of things to explore and get to know where we're living. Luckily, we have a park literally right outside our door, so we can go outside and play at the park every single day without having to hop in the car and drive somewhere, which is huge. And I think it's just, we've never had garbage before, so that's been an adjustment. Like, we've had garbage, obviously, but, like, we haven't had our own garbage cans. So making sure that our garbage is on the road ready to get picked up on Mondays, that's been an adjustment, at least for me, because I've never really had to deal with garbage cans. But that was something I was super excited about, me and Santiago being back together, because I make him take the trash out. That was my least favorite chore, was taking the trash out. So I'm glad that he's home now to do that, because I don't want to do it anymore. I mean, in the end, we're just so excited to be here. Like, this is going to be such an awesome time for my family. One of the things that I struggled with when, we lived in Iowa was making sure that his side and my side of the family were equally involved in things. We're seeing Amelia, we're seeing me, we were hanging out with them, and honestly, it was so stressful. Like, because I'm such a people pleaser, and I always have been, and it's something I'm working on, and I've gotten a lot better at, but, I felt like I had to be everywhere at once. And so, it was the same when Santiago was with us, and, now that we are away, now that we're in Texas, like, yeah, it's sad that we left family, but I think I'm more excited to be away. And I only say that because I think it's the perfect time for my family to step away from everyone and become our own. Like, I didn't feel like when we were in Iowa, we had that chance to really find out who we wanted to be and what we wanted to do as a family, because we were constantly being invited somewhere or asked to do things with other people. And like, it's time for us to take a step back, and it's time for us to say, nope, we are becoming our own little group of people, and we are doing our own thing, and we are going to create our own schedule. So I think that's one of the biggest positives coming out of this, is that my family finally gets to go and just do whatever we want to do. And I'm so excited to do that. Not only that, but I'm just so excited to have my husband back again. And I'm so excited for Amelia to have her dad back again. And like, we're a unit. We're our own family again. And that's what we needed. It's so exciting. Life is going back to semi-normal. How it was when we were all together. Like, yeah, it's still different because Santiago's still off doing what he needs to do. But at the end of the day, like, we're having dinner together. We're going to bed. We're waking up. We're in the same state. That's huge. I'm not stressed. Like, I don't have the stress of other people around me or of other things going on around me. Like, I am on my own schedule with my own people, doing what I want to do when I want to do it. And I don't think I could have asked God for a better anything. Like, he knew this is what my heart needed. And one of my favorite things, someone called me and she was like, "You just sound happy." And that made me happy to hear that someone was like, "You just sound happy," because I am happy. I'm happy where we are. I'm happy with what we're doing. And I'm happy with the life that God has allowed us to step into to start our own lives together. Some of the things that I want you guys to take away from this episode is that moving is scary, but sometimes it's necessary, which in our case, it was very necessary for us to just step away from other people. You have to focus on what's ahead of you and not focus on either what's going on around you or what happened yesterday. Like, it's just so important to focus on what you're working towards, because at the end of the day, like, what you do today matters, and it will impact and affect the future that you are building for yourself. Also, it's okay to be still. That's something I'm still learning. I'm here at home with Amelia every day, and I love it, but sometimes, like, I feel like I could be doing something else, or I should be doing something else, and that's something I'm learning. Like, it's okay to be still where you are and to listen to what God wants you to do in this moment of stillness. Okay, you guys, let's talk about 3 good things that are happening in my life. 1, like I said earlier, Texas heat is just like Florida heat, but it's dry. And that makes me feel like I'm in Florida, and that makes me extremely happy. Number 2, my house is finally unpacked. It took me like 2 weeks to get it officially unpacked because there were still little things I had to go get or just get things to make it feel like a little home. And everything is finally unpacked. So that's another thing off my to-do list. Cha-ching! And finally, like I said, I am experiencing life as a stay-at-home mom, which has not happened to me in a very long time. When Amelia was born, Santiago got to be a stay-at-home dad for a while, and he loved it. And now it's my turn to be a stay-at-home parent, and it's been so fun. I love spending time with my baby girl every day, and this is such a precious time for me because it may not last forever. It could last forever, I don't know. But as of right now, it's probably one of my favorite moments as her mother that I've got to experience with her, because I get to be here physically every day to watch her grow, learn, speak. Little Miss is starting to like say sentences, and that's terrifying. Yeah, Those are my 3 favorite things. 3 good things that are happening in my life right now. Guys, I'm so excited that you took this time to listen, to interact, to laugh, just to be here in the moment with me. I'm so appreciative that I get to take this time to tell you about my life. Exciting things are coming in the next couple weeks, and I cannot wait for you guys to be a part of it. Thank you so much for listening, tuning in. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Like us on Facebook, like us wherever you can like us on social media platforms. And you can always listen to the Spotify. Wow! And you can always listen to this podcast on Spotify. And I just hope you guys have a really good week. Smile, guys. It's a really good day. Bye.